Hello, everyone. It's Darren Kaplan with Can Your Banker Do This podcast. Again, Darren Kaplan here. You can always reach me at MrTotalMortgage.com or 844-772-LOAN. Make sure you hit up my website so that you can actually apply, get a 5-minute free pre-approval. Okay, or you can call me at 844-772-LOAN with any questions. So I'm sitting here again with my friend Jay, my colleague Jay DeFreitas over here at Insignia Title. Jay, say hello.
Hey, everybody. Jay DeFreitas, Insignia National Title Agency. You want me to give them my contact numbers now?
Absolutely. Tell everybody how they can reach you.
You guys can reach out to me. Cell phone is normally easiest as I'm on the road most days, 631-317-0013. You can email me at j@insignianationaltitleagency.com. Available pretty much
all the time.
All
right?
the time, yeah.
Well, that's some of the reasons why we use you,
Yeah.
Jay. I mean, so here, me and Jay known each other for 20 years. We've actually done business with each other for 20 years.
Yeah.
Jay runs Insignia National Title. They're nationwide. So if anybody out there has any title questions, please, by all means, always feel free to reach him. But for the most part, the way it works is that we use Jay because Jay is always on top of his stuff. His company, they're continuously reading our title reports so that things don't come up at the end of your closing. So if you're purchasing a house, you're always going to need title. All right, whether you buy a house cash, or you buy a house with a mortgage.
You got to have a title insurance.
Got to have title in place, right? So one of our biggest hiccups over the years, especially on refinances, and I'm talking about refinance right now because we have the refinance boom going on right now, right? The rates are at the historic lows, right? Okay, so people want to pull cash out, or people want to refinance, or they want to better their lives. But what they don't know is that something may be on their title report that they didn't know about.
Absolutely.
All right, so
mechanics, liens, anything. You know.
Perfect. Perfect. So why don't you tell us a little bit about like some of the stuff that are on the title reports that we can look for, that you look for us, so it doesn't happen at the end, and we can at least notify our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the biggest issues you could run into is an issue with title. You're not closing if you don't have a clear title on the home.
For sure.
And it's really there to protect not only the bank, but also the homeowner themselves. There's an owner's policy, which is taken out normally when you purchase the home, and the lender's policy, which is what protects the lender. Things that we've run into, obviously, there's tax liens that come up, mechanics liens. Somebody does work on your car and doesn't get paid, or
old
files
mortgages, right? That aren't
mortgages
paid
that
off,
pop up. Yeah, there's all sorts of different pitfalls that can pop up on a title report, and you run into the gamut of them pretty much over the last 20 years in the mortgage industry. We've seen a lot of things that pop up that put an automatic stop to a mortgage, could kill a deal. In one moment. So
here we're going through a refinance boom, right? And we're also going through a market where the rates are at the lowest, so people can afford to buy a house, right?
Yes.
One thing that they don't realize are how much they have to pay upfront in taxes. So when you buy a house, right, especially in New York, I do 90% of my business in New Jersey, right? So the taxes aren't as high, but when you buy a house in New York, depending on when you close, taxes are due. So by utilizing Jay as opposed to not utilizing Jay, let's say, he gives me those fees up front. I get those up front. I know what taxes are due right away. So when we're doing a mortgage for our client, I ask Jay, hey, can you get me the fees?
Correct.
Can you get me the title bill? Can you get me those numbers?
A lot of time what ends up happening is we'll have the taxes in place. We'll have the fees, a title charge. The premium is a federally mandated charge. Like, it doesn't change from one company to the next. But what we do run into a lot of times is we'll run a tax contin the day before closing, and boom, taxes are due within 60 days. And now we have to pick up for 6 months worth of taxes. A lot of times.
So he said 6 months worth of taxes. So you have your escrow.
Correct.
Plus you have your taxes due.
Yep. And normally, the escrow account, when you set up the escrow account with the lender, they're taking 2 months reserves automatically because your payment's not due for, the first month. You have that grace period until your first mortgage payment is due. So a lot of times they're picking up for 2-3 months worth of taxes to set up your.
And if your taxes are $1,000
$15,000, yeah, $20,000, yeah.
That's an extra $8,000 for
exactly that out of nowhere that you have to pick up. Correct. So a lot of times what we like to do is we take a look at what we've seen in the past. If it's a Queens County deal, if it's a Suffolk County deal, depending what incorporated town they're in, we'll take a look at that and figure out, all right, this is what we can expect. Taxes are due in June. We're closing in April. All right, so we're going to have to pick up for those 6 months. The difference between that and a refinance is a lot of times with a refinance, you already have your escrow established. So it's kind of one hand washing the other. You're taking your unpaid escrow balance from your mortgage and applying
it
that
can get a little
towards.
complicated.
Yeah,
Sometimes
absolutely.
people, they get caught in between, right, where their taxes are due and you're picking up.
Correct.
Right, so like you can't pay them twice. So let's tell everybody, you can't pay your taxes twice, right? So either we're picking it up at the closing or they're already paid.
Correct.
Right.
And if they're already paid and it hasn't showed with the town yet, which you run into a lot of times, people will pay their taxes, right before the closing, whatever the case may be. Sometimes we run into it where it has just been paid and it's not showing up. We're not going to take double the money. The client always gets that tax money back, and that's a lot of times they look at that and they say, "Wait a minute, I already paid for my taxes."
Yeah. So this is the Can Your Banker Do This podcast, right?
Yep.
So can your banker help you out in obtaining your upfront costs, how much escrow you need, possibly what liens and judgments are on title.
Correct.
Before you go and buy the house or before you even notify your attorney.
Absolutely. And that's,
Right.
that's
So
where working hand in hand with the lender and
Exactly.
the title, you like to see people that have worked together continue to work together because
Sure.
we know, and just like you and I do, we know what we need to do for each other. A lot of times,
Exactly.
you'll call me up.
It's
and
not just me though. I want other people out there to know. So if
Absolutely.
you're unhappy with your title company, if you want, let's say, to
Better
explore
service.
other options, right? And listen, there's 100 title companies out there,
there's
right?
thousands
But
of-
but what separates? It's just like mortgages, and it's just like doctors, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like any profession, right? What separates you from anybody else? And the fact that I can vouch for you, and I utilize you, and my company utilizes you, but what else is there?
So I think one of the keys to my success in this business is that I do come from a mortgage background. I've been a loan officer. I started off as a junior processor when I first came into the business with Delta Funding Corporation.
Delta Funding
1998, yeah. So
Hey, let me give me one name at Delta Funding.
Kathy Mazzara.
There you go, Kathy Mazzara. How you doing?
So one of the things that I learned as a junior processor, as a junior loan officer, as a loan officer, sales manager, was that we're all fighting the same fight. We all have the same
sure.
clients that are out there looking to close fast, looking to spend as little as possible, and find somebody that's competent. Somebody you're not going to go to the closing table and all of a sudden the charges are $20,000 from what they were originally supposed to be.
Right.
So I have the background in
So we're
mortgages.
able to get those numbers up front
Exactly.
to accommodate a safer closing. So if you're balancing a budget, for argument's sake,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm experienced because I see somebody has $30,000 and they're trying to buy a $500,000 house in New York. It may
May not work out.
It could become a problem
Yeah.
for sure, and the money just doesn't magically appear.
Correct.
Right. So we have to figure something out. But what we're gonna do is this: we're gonna figure out how you can get out there, reach other people. Right. You want people.
I would love to, if
to
you have questions, if you anything with title, whether it's New York State, whether it's out of state, fees, what title charges may be.
Well,
in
what
certain
big is
states.
right now is this: people are cashing out of their house,
Correct.
they're buying investments properties at auction, and they don't have a title report.
And they need them
So
quickly.
contact me, contact Jay. Remember, you can always reach me at my website. Ask any questions you want. There's a forum. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, please. And you can always call me at 844-772-LOAN. This is my good friend Jay DeFriedis
you
over
for
at
having me, Dan.
Insignia.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, just one thing, like to what you were saying. Our turn times on title reports in New York State, 3 to 5 days. Completed report back in your email. Contact me, Jay, at Insignia National Title Agency, or 631-317-0013.
Awesome. And you guys always know how to reach me. And as always, can your banker do this?